Let us see a brief introduction about RS configuration. If the fourth priority group is in vertical line, the fourth priority group is in vertical line. If it is a clockwise direction, if it will be a clockwise, then it should be R configuration. And if it will be anti-clockwise direction, then it should be S configuration. Similarly, if the fourth priority group in horizontal line, the fourth priority group in horizontal line, clockwise direction, yes, anti-clockwise direction, R. Let's see for this example. Here, we have to give the priorities. This is 1, 2, 3, and it will be anti-clockwise direction. For anti-clockwise direction, if the fourth priority group is present in heavier position in but horizontal line, if the fourth priority group is in horizontal line and it will be a anti-clockwise direction, then it should be R configuration. Similarly, see this one. If you are given the priorities like this, 1, 2, 3, right? 3, right? Okay. And it will be clockwise direction. It will be clockwise direction. If the fourth priority group is present in horizontal line, here horizontal line, and it will be a clockwise direction. So it will be a S configuration. Similarly, let's see for another example for this molecule, how to find the RS configuration. Here COOH is there, and this is OH, and this is H. Here, let's take this as a group or group G. First, you have to give the priorities like this. One, here see, this is the chiral carbon, right? This chiral carbon attached to carbon, this carbon, and again this carbon and again this chiral carbon attached to this carbon. Again next this carbon attached to oxygen, and this carbon attached to carbon or oxygen. So we have to go next one. That means it will be attached to another oxygen. So priorities according to CPI rules, it will be gives us the priority for COOH group, right? And then next the group will be give third priority, and it will be fourth priority. So it will be like this direction, means anti-clockwise direction. For anti-clockwise direction, if the horizontal, if the fourth priority group is present in horizontal line, then it will be R configuration, right? So this is R configuration. And in addition to this is a meso compound, right? In addition to this is a meso compound. If meso compounds are present, then if the carbon, this chiral carbon, if configuration is R, then the another chiral carbon should be S configuration, right? If you want to check it, right? Similarly, this were in the same way you have to find out, this is RS configuration and this is SR configuration. Similarly, I will tell you for this one. Let's see. These are the two chiral carbons, right? Here I will write PH, and here H, and here OH, and this for the G group. G group is here. Now we are giving the priorities like this is one. See here, this chiral carbon attached to this carbon, right? And again it attached to this carbon means pH, phenyl ring. So one carbon can attach to, it will be also attached to carbon. Again next it will be attached to, this is the phenyl ring, right? So it is attached to all carbon atoms, right? Here see, this carbon will be attached to oxygen. So priority according to CPI rules, oxygen will give more priority than oxygen. So sorry, will have more priority than carbon. So the group will have second priority, then phenyl ring have third priority. So you have to giving the priorities. After giving priorities, you have to write this, means this is a anti-clockwise direction. If anti-clockwise direction, the fourth priority group in horizontal line. If the fourth priority group in horizontal line, it will be anti-clockwise direction. What is the configuration? R, right? So it will be R, and it will be the next carbon is, if you want to check, it will be S, and this will be R, and this will be S. Okay. Now I am saying that this R to S conversion and S to R, this will give RS configuration, these two chiral carbons, and these two chiral carbons is RSR configuration. Now I am saying that these two are homomers. Okay. In a similar way, the RS configuration and S2R, but now I am saying these two are enantiomers. Why? Because let's here see, if two terminals of a molecule with identical groups, if two terminals of a molecule, these are the terminal groups, right? These two terminals of a molecule with identical groups, these are the two identical groups present in this configuration, in this structure, right? Then RS to SR, RS to SR, conversion produces homomers. Okay, conversion produces homomers. Similarly, if the two terminals of a molecule with non-identical groups, here see, these are the two terminals, right? These two terminals with non-identical groups, these are the non-identical groups, whereas here identical groups. If identical groups are there, RS to SR is there, na? You have to remember there are homomers. Similarly, if non-identical groups are there, with non-identical groups are there, and R2S, RS to S2R conversion produces enantiomers. You have to remember, if identical groups are present, then R2S S2R is a homomer. If non-identical groups are present, R2S S2R is enantiomers. You have to remember these 2 points. And similarly, RR to SSR also produces enantiomers. Here, these two are, here see, these two are, what is the mean by enantiomers? They are non-superimposable mirror images are known as enantiomers. See here, they are non-superimposable and will have mirror images. So this carbon will give R configuration, and this carbon also will give R configuration. If you want, check it. Okay, right? And this carbon will give S configuration, and this carbon will give S configuration. You have to, if you want to check it, just like you have to follow the according to CPI rules. Sorry, CPI. Sorry, this is Khan in gold prelagrate CIP rules. Sorry, CPI. I tell CPI. Sorry, that is CIP. Okay, I tell CPI. I think. Okay. You have to, if you want check it, you have to find out this RR configuration, SS configuration. Similarly, RR to SSR also produce enantiomers. You have to remember this one you have to remember. Okay. Next, if RS to RR, if RS to RR produces, then the such type of configurations are known as diastereomers. You should remember what are homomers, what are enantiomers, and what are diastereomers. Okay, I simply writing here. Simply remembering, I will write here C SS RS SR and RR. These are the diastereomers, and these are the diastereomers. These are the diastereomers. These are the diastereomers. Where SS, RS, RR there, na? These are enantiomers. Where RS to, sorry, SR to RS conversion is there, na? These are the homomers. And based on if identical groups are there, it will be homomers. If non-identical groups are there, then those are enantiomers. You have to remember this one. It's simply, okay. Similarly, this is the camphor molecule. In order to find out this RS configuration for this molecule, you should here, these are the two in camphor molecule. There are two chiral centers are present, right? This is the one chiral center, and here is the another chiral center. This is the methyl group, right? Now we have find out this chiral center for RS configuration. Here see, first this is what are there here groups, what groups are there present for this carbon atom. Here C double bond O groups is there. This is C double bond O group, and this carbon will attach to CH2 group, CH2 group again, and one methyl group attached to this chiral center, so CH3 group, and again this chiral center will be attached to this one, right? That is C Okay, I will write here like this. I will write means this chiral carbon contain 4 different groups, right? First one is C double bond O. Again here CH2 CH2. Okay, and next this is the methyl group, and this chiral carbon attached to this also, this group also, right? C CH3 CH3. Now we are giving the priorities, right? According to Kahn-Ingold Prelag rules, CIP rules. Okay, first one is C double bond O means first this carbon attached to C and this carbon attached to carbon and this is methyl group. So it will be first priority means this is the first priority, right? And similarly here carbon attached to C carbon, this is the carbon and again attached to carbon. Here see this is the carbon, right? And again attached to this carbon atom, again attached to this carbon atom. So the second priority for this is second priority, because here attached the carbon attached to carbon and next it will be attached to hydrogens, but here carbon attached to carbon and again also it will be attached to carbon. So C is greater than for hydrogen, right? That's why we have to give the priorities for this one. The next third one priority is here, first priority here, second priority here, and third priority here, and fourth priority. Okay, this is first and this is will be second and this will be third and it will be fourth. Okay, it will be like this, means anti-clockwise direction. If anti-clockwise direction, that means S configuration, but the methyl group is there, no? The methyl group is towards us. The methyl group is towards us. Here see this is the least priority, right? Here two points are there, no? You have to see if the least priority groups is away from you. If the least priority groups is away from you, then there is no changes in the configurations. But if the least priority group is towards you, if the least priority group here, this is the least priority group, it will be towards you. So what will happen? There is changes takes place. There are the changes takes place. If it will get S configuration, so changes takes place. So it will be a R configuration, right? It is a anti-clockwise direction, but the least priority group is towards us. That's why there is a what we are getting first. Yes, so it's because this methyl group, the least priority group is towards us. That's why there will be a changes takes place. That's why it will be if it be yes, then it will be finally what is the configuration for this chiral carbon? R configuration. Okay, finally this is a R configuration, right? You have to remember these 2 points. Okay, if you next we have to find the configuration. What is the RS configuration for this chiral carbon? Okay, first I will write like again like this. Just here I will write here. That is will be very complicating. Here I will again writing. This is the chiral carbon. This is the methyl group, and this is the C double bond O. Right. First, you have to write CH2 C double bond O. This is CH2 C double bond O, where this is C carbon attached to CH2, CH3 and CH3. Again, this carbon attached to 2 CH2 groups. And the fourth group is hydrogen, right? The fourth group is hydrogen. Least priority is the hydrogen, and according to Kahn-Prelag-Ingold rule, this is the first priority. Here see, this carbon will attach to this one, again this carbon attached to this one. Here this CH2, see, this carbon will be attached to carbon. Here this carbon will be attached to carbon, again this carbon will attach to hydrogen, but here this carbon will attach to carbon. That's why it will get a first priority, then it will get second priority, then this in third, and this is the fourth priority for hydrogen. Okay, first, second, and this is third. This is clockwise direction. Clockwise direction means R. When anti-clockwise means yes, where clockwise means R. So in this camphor there are both RR configuration is there. See here there is no changes takes place because this hydrogen is away from you, means this is behind this board. Okay, this hydrogen is behind this board. That's why if the priorities of the least priority group is away from you, means this is behind us and behind the this board. That's why there is no changes takes place if it's clockwise or if it's anti-clockwise. Yes, okay. Whereas if the least priority group is towards us, then clockwise, then there is a changes takes place. What means, if the S is there, it will be converted into R. If R is there, it will be converted into S. When you have to remember this one, towards you there will be a changes takes place. Okay. Now we are saying discrimination of enantiomers. Means, in order to differentiate the enantiomers into enantiomers, or in order to differentiate enantiomers is known as discrimination of enantiomers. In So first one is addition of chiral solvate chiral agents or chiral solvating agents. By addition of chiral solvent agents, we can differentiate the enantiomers. Okay, we can differentiate enantiomers, right? By addition of chiral agents, we can differentiate the enantiomers. Let's take, this is the example for chiral solvent. Chiral agent means it will have a chiral carbon. This carbon will have 4 different groups. That's why it is a chiral. Here see how, and it is a R configuration. See, let's see how it will be. Now we are giving the priorities 1 2 3 1 2 3 anti-clockwise direction, and the fourth priority group in horizontal, means R configuration, right? Similarly, for this is just I write here NH2, and this is the chiral carbon CH3. Next, here COOCH3. Next, giving the priorities 1, and this one 2, this one 3, and fourth priority 1 2 3. This is anti-clockwise. The fourth priority group in horizontal, means R configuration, right? This is R configuration. Similarly, this where if you are doing, it will be get S configuration, but if you want to check it, right, it will be S configuration. Next, when R and S are there, then these two are enantiomers. These are the enantiomers. When R and S is there, then these are enantiomers. If the both isomers will give same configuration, that means RR is there, then such type of isomers are known as homomers. But here we getting R configuration, this isomer. For this isomer we getting S isomer. Okay, so then these are known as enantiomers. Now, in order to differentiate these enantiomers, now we are adding addition of chiral solvating agents. Now we are adding chiral solvating agents. Here this is chiral agent. Now we can, this is the R configuration, right? This chiral group is R configuration, and now we are adding R isomer. Okay, so it will be converted as a RR configuration. Okay, here again this chiral group is attached to S isomer, so it will be converted into RS. So in previously we are discussing where R to R RS, R to R gives RS configuration, means these are R to R and RR to RS will be present, then such type of isomers are known as diastereomers. So we can differentiate the individual enantiomers into diastereomers. We know that enantiomers will give same type of signal in H1 NMR spectroscopy, whereas diastereomers will give different types of signals, right? Here first the H1 NMR spectroscopy will give the signals for this hydrogen proton head 4.0. Here where methyl proton it will get 1.45, and this methoxy proton will get at 3.8 or 3.5. 3.5. Okay, and here you see, then the methyl group will be get little bit more when compared to this previous one. This is 4.5, and it will be little bit less. This is, I think, this is a little bit less, that is 2.3, and the methoxy group will be at 1.3 ppm. You say here 2.8, right? This is 2.8 ppm. Okay, na? In order to differentiate the enantiomers into diastereomers, what we are doing, we are adding one chiral agent. That is, if we are adding chiral agent, the individual enantiomers can be converted into diastereomers, right? In order to convert the enantiomers into diastereomers, what we are doing, we are adding one chiral reagent, right? And enantiomers will give same signals in H1NMR spectroscopy, whereas diastereomers will give different signals in H1 spectroscopy. Means different chemical shift values are there for these these two types of structure. For we can differentiate enantiomer. These are the enantiomers, these are the diastereomers. By adding chiral reagents, the enantiomers can be converted into diastereomers, right? And second one is by addition of chiral lanthanide shift reagents. The best example for chiral lanthanide reagent is heptafluorobutyryl camphor, and it is a R isomer. Means in in RS nomenclature we have find out the what is the configuration of camphor. We are find out the configuration of for camphor is RR configuration name same. This is the structure of camphor. This will be R configuration, so it will be R isomer, right? This and in order to write the whole structure, simply I will write like this. Okay, this is the europium. Means europium is a lanthanide, and this is the by addition of chiral lanthanide shift reagents, europium lanthanide, and these are the chiral reagents. Okay, this is the R configuration. And here see an example for this. This is the example. Here if R equals R1 equals to C2H5 ethyl group and R2 equals to CH3 group, then what will happen? The 1 and 2 3 1 2 3, the fourth periodic group is in vertical line. Vertical line means it is a R configuration. Similarly it will be a S configuration. See 1, this is a 1, and here 2, this is 3, anti-clockwise direction. Fourth periodic group in vertical line, it will be anti-clockwise direction. That means it is a S configuration. Right? If we are now we are adding what we are doing, we are adding the chiral reagents to this. These are the enantiomers, because these get R configuration and it will get S configuration. So these two are enantiomers. In order to differentiate these enantiomers, what we are doing, we have to add chiral reagents. This is the chiral reagent. I will write like this, and this is the R configuration of chiral reagent, and this is the R configuration of this isomer, and this is the R configuration of reagent, and this is the S configuration of this one. So by addition of this, what we are getting, RR and RS. When RR to RS will getting, then such type of isomers are known as diastereomers. Okay, diastereomers will give different signals, whereas enantiomers will give same type of signals in the H1NMR spectroscopy. Okay, and the third method is Mosher's method. Okay, this is the chiral reagent. This is the chiral reagent. This name is 3,3 trifluorophenyl propanoic acid, or alpha methoxy alpha trifluoromethylphenyl acetic acid. Means this is the functional group, and this carbon is alpha carbon. This alpha carbon will contain alpha methoxy. This is alpha carbon, right? And it contains methoxy group. So it is a alpha methoxy and alpha trifluoromethyl, and this is a phenyl group. So it is a acetic acid. That's why it is a alpha methoxy alpha trifluoromethylphenyl acetic acid. Generally it is also known as RMTPA, because this is the R configuration. Let's see how the R configuration is there. 1, we are doing 2, 3, and this is the 4. Means anti-clockwise direction, and the fourth periodic group is in horizontal, so it will be a R configuration. So, and in this Mosher's method, there are two types of there. MTPA is there and SMTPA is there, but we are using only RMTPA. This is the R configuration. And let's take an example for this. In this example, let's see. This is the 1 phenyl 1 butanol. This is 1 phenyl 1 butanol, and this is the R isomer, and this is the S isomer. Okay, see this is the R isomer, and let's take priorities 1 and this phenyl group get 2 and this figure 3. 1 2 3, 1 2 3 means this is the clockwise, and fourth priority group in vertical, so it is a R configuration, right? And here see 1 and this is 2 and this is 3, this is clockwise direction, where is the fourth priority group in horizontal, so it is a S configuration. Okay, this is one phenyl, one butanol, and these two are this is R configuration and this is the S configuration, so these two are enantiomers, right? In order to differentiate these two enantiomers, now we are adding chiral reagents, that is alpha methoxysterna, that is the chiral reagent. Here this chiral reagent is first R configuration, and now we are addition to this R configuration of this one butanol etherna. So this is RR configuration, whereas this is R configuration chiral reagent, this is S configuration, so it is a RS. So now here see RR to RS is known as diastereomers, right? In previously we are discussing about what is enantiomers, diastereomers and homomers. So where RR to RS configuration is present, then such type of isomers are known as diastereomers. Diastereomers will give different signals in H1 NMR spectroscopy. So we can differentiate the individual enantiomers into diastereomers, right? So thank you for this one.